Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to do is about pollution. Okay, so we are going to talk about water pollution. So water pollution is caused by foreign object and chemical alteration or chemical and physical change in the water quality and structure. Okay, so that is what your air sorry water pollution is. So when we are talking about water pollution, aquatic ecosystem, which gets disinterrupted, and when the natural and chemical buildup in excess amount. And there are two types of water pollution, that is the point source water pollution, when the pollutant enter the water as a specific site, such as discharge pipe and or a point of discharging the waste material into the water source. And diffuse type, when there is an or there is not enough evidences that what is an obvious source of pollution, and it occurs over a wide area. So for example, it includes runoff from agricultural land and urban areas. Now this type of pollution can be difficult to identify and control. Like in for example, in Scotland, diffuse pollution is a large pollution pressure on the water and environment in the country. Okay, so water pollution is an essential element that we have to address, because water being an essential element of life support on the surface of the earth. Sorry. Now making a case of understanding the environment and what it supports. Water plays an important role, being an important element of life support. So we need to understand the source of what water pollution, main pollutants, then what is eutrophication, biomagnification and bioaccumulation, indoctrination of and disruption of the water source, and oil spill altogether. Okay, so when we are talking of the source of pollution, we need to understand like why sampling water treatment schemes, like what are the sources that is it is going to be affected by various pollutants. So the sources could be agriculture, atmospheric, aquaculture, forestry, illegal pumping of water, industries, mining, sewage, urban waste, and road runoff can contribute to ammonia, arsenic, lead, selenium, mercury, then nitrites, phosphorates, hydrocarbons, sulfates, and sulfur and phosphorate. All those are components that get diffused into the water sources. Now different causes of water pollutions are like basically marine dumping, when we are dumping away waste materials which is coming off in a, nationwide. We are dumping those waste into marine life, into ocean. That is marine dumping. Industrial waste, sewage, mainly coming from household, are drained off into any water body, are source of water pollution. Then you have nuclear waste, like nuclear reactor use water as a coolant. So when we release water into the atmosphere, they tend to react with the atmospheric they tend to react with the water, and the temperature, the general temperature of the water will also rise. Okay, so when the temperature of the water rises, what happens is it affects the aquatic life forms there. Okay, so that's why we need to take care that nuclear waste and nuclear water, water which has been used in nuclear power station, are not dumped and disposed into water without treating. Similarly, like if you have nuclear waste being dumped into the water, that will also affect the life forms and aquatic life in the water, that on consumption of these things, and can also indirectly affect the human life and quality. Oil pollution, like it can come out with oil drilling or mining in the deep ocean. Oil spills of big tankers are, a major source of oil pollution in the marine life. Then underground water can also get contaminated due to, nearby, what do you call, dumping of waste material, and then storage leakage, like when you have septic tank leakage, they can get leached into the groundwater and can contaminate groundwater with harmful bacteria and diseases into the source of water, and when consuming it we can fall prey to the diseases. The type of the pollutant can be, surface water pollution that is found on the exterior of the earth crust, ocean, rivers and lakes. Groundwater pollution is found on soil or, under rock structure or aquifers. Then we have microbiological pollutants, that is microorganisms that thrives on water and fishes that can, cause illness to land animals and humans. So what is microbiological pollution? It's like microbials that thrives on water and fishes that can cause illness to land animals and humans. Oxygen depletion, then this is a pollution which happens like when, or microorganism that in water and feed on the, biodegradable substances can no more take in oxygen on the, on various grounds that we are going to discuss in coming slides. The main pollutants are in water sources are, ammonia. So ammonia comes from agriculture, aquaculture, industries and urban waste. Ammonia is highly toxic to, fishes and can convert into nitrate. Okay, so when ammonia or ammonium, converts into nitrate, that becomes very acidic. It also very toxic to the, fishes in the water or aquatic life forces. It is very toxic to that. Then when the ammonia is converted into nitrates, what happens is, agriculture, it is again coming from the sources, it can accelerate aquatic plant growth, leading to eutrophication. We are going to talk about what is eutrophication. Okay, so what will happen is, it will lead to a sudden, aquatic plant to grow over the surface, leading to eutrophication. Toxic metals will also, then there are, industrial waste which is coming into the water, will bring out toxic metals. Now they are basically from minings and urban waste and industrial waste. Now this includes arsenic, mercury, selenium and lead, predominantly, which affects the bi- you know the biological animals, surviving on the water, and can persist in an environment for, these minerals can remain in the environment for years and decades together, and they can be very poisonous to aquatic life forces and may also slow down their development and, population altogether. Then we have sulfate, that comes from mining. So mines containing sulfate, minerals, and sulfur dioxide mixed with water particulates in air to form acid, and this falls as an acid rain, leading to acidification of water bodies. So sulfide minerals can be, unearthed during the mining process and are, leading cause of acidification of water in mines. Now when the acidic water is discharged, it is known as acid rock, acid rain, or drainage, rock drainage. And the most common mineral associated with this process is pyrite, that is, um, iron and sulfur is pyrite, and that is the most common mineral. So whenever we are harvesting iron ore, specifically like mineral like pyrite, we will get sulfur dioxide mixed into the atmosphere. When it comes down in the form of acid rain, it makes the water body acidic, then making the whole process like a domino falling off. Acidification will affect the life on the marine life, and leading to even further change in the water quality, and no more safe for the environment in that region. Now, phosphorus or phosphate, which comes out from agriculture and urban waste, it has a similar effect to that of nitrate, and this can also lead to eutrophication of water body. So, like crude oil or hydrocarbon can also be, or and any other hydrocarbon can also be very harmful for the environment. Like they are basically coming from urban sectors and my industries. So, crude oil like mainly enters the marine environment in form of oil spills, and oil spill can have happen while drilling a oil pipe or mining pipe into the oceanic flow, and trying to extract the oil from that oceanic basin. Then you can have oil spill, as oil tankers can topple in the marine, in ocean, and can spill water oil in the on the surface, and can have detrimental effect on a marine animals and plants, and also birds associated to marine life forces. Okay. Then we have five main types of air pollutants, that is microbial. Microbial pollutants like pathogens can be bacteria, protozoa, or virus. So bacteria, for example, are commonly found in water, and however, when they start to increase above safe level, the water contamination occurs. So what happens is, the pathogen which is present there in water, like bacteria and protozoas and viruses which is there in water, are very common in water bodies, and however they can start increase, and whenever there is an increase in these bacteria beyond the safe level, the water contamination, it is called water contamination. Now, some examples of microorganisms found in water that causes disease are salmonella, norvovirus, cryptopotamus, pylium, E. coli. E. coli is very common, and salmonella is very common as a microbial, which is pathogens which gets mixed up in water body. High level of pathogens may result from on-site sanitation system, or inadequate treated sewage discharge. Then older sites which with aging infrastructure may have leak sewage collection system, which can cause sanitary sewage overflow. So pathogen discharge may also be caused by poorly managed livestock operations. So the presence of E. coli bacteria, usually indicates that water has been contaminated with human or animal waste. So the presence of E. coli is like E. coli, we can say that it is a bacteria, and it usually indicates that the water has been contaminated by human or animal waste. So because E. coli is a bacteria which is there in guts of all the animals. So when animal is excreting its waste into an open space, it has a tendency of mixing up with water and flushing it into a water body. So when it is flushed into a water body, the E. coli, which is from present in your guts, get mixed up with water, and it is consumed. When it is consumed beyond a particular level, actually, not all E. coli bacteria are harmful. There are few strands of E. coli bacteria which are very harmful and poisonous, or toxic for human guts. They come from the feces of the animals, if it is excreted in the open or near the water body. Then we have organic materials. Organic materials are things that, petroleum, insecticides and herbicides and detergent, disinfectant, cleaners and prescription drugs are, getting mixed up in water bodies. So one of the most frequent detected highly toxic organic chemical is methyl tributyl ether, that is MTBE, which are formerly used as an air cleaner, cleaning gas adhesives. So that is methyl tributyl ether. It is an air, when you are spraying your rooms, your houses with air cleaning, yeah, they can also get mixed up with water bodies. So although it is not banned chemical, it will take years before it is, thoroughly removed from the contaminated water system. So the water contaminated with, organic chemical can cause cancers like leukemia, lymphoma and tumors in the, in the genital areas. Thyroid glands can be inflamed, kidneys will be affected by because of these chemicals. So the predominantly MTBE are a very it's one of the examples of our organic material which has the capacity of contaminating water and will take many years to be removed from the water contamination. On consuming these chemicals, we may face leukemia, lymphoma and tumors in various around the soft tissue region of the living being. So then, thirdly, inorganic materials include things like ammonia, chemical waste, fertilizers, heavy metals, like arsenic, mercury, copper, chromium, zinc, barium, lead are, all harmful, very harmful, and even in very small amount. So act as pollutant when they can end up in concentrating in water, and this can be due to leaching from, waste disposal, increase in human activity and industrial incidences. The kind of water pollution, especially in higher concentration, can cause severe health problems in humans and other organisms, including, it can lead to death and extinction of that species. Like arsenic or mercury toxins. Mercury toxins can cause, it is usually, it can be transferred from humans to, sorry, from aquatic animals to humans, those who are, completely dependent on fish. And when you have, these marine animals, consume these marine animals which are coming from toxic water sources, will lead to mercury poisoning sometime. And the mercury poisoning will lead to your body manifest, nervous breakdown and neurological problems, skin lesion, indigestions and many more health complications will come along with it. Okay. Microscopic microscopic pollutants are large, visible items, macroscopic, okay, items in waterways or water bodies of water and trashes, either intentionally dumped into the water body or discharged in the water and washed by the rain in storms and, storm drains. So they are eventually discharged into water bodies, and this has led to formation of great specific, a pacific garbage patch, which is now almost the size of a country like France. The other type of microscopic, macroscopic pollution include, plastics, pellets, okay, that is noodles, Noodles are, combinations of plastics and, small plastics and pellets, pieces floating of, wood and material over the water surfaces. Now, though it may seem easy enough to manage, time is of essence, and these large pollutants, must be removed in order to avoid disruption of aquatic systems and contamination upon the chemical breakdown of these objects. Then at last we have thermal pollution in water. Like, thermal pollution is the rise and fall in the temperature of natural water body, what that water caused by human influences. A common case of, thermal pollution is the use of, water as a coolant by power plants. Like, it can be thermal power plant, or, nuclear power plants and industrial manufacturers. Now, it can also be caused by, release of very cold water, from the base of a reservoir into warm river. So elevated water temperature decreases the oxygen level, which can kill fish and alter food chain composition and reduce the species biodiversity. So the urban runoff may also elevate the temperature in the surface of the water. So when we are talking about thermal pollution, we see that the thermal pollution is the rise or fall of the temperature of natural water body, which is by predominantly by human influences. A common case will be like, thermal pollution will come out from, as a water being used as a coolant in thermal power station or nuclear power station. So water coming out from there will have a generally a dry, warmer water compared to the natural water body. So when they are released in there, it will affect the, in fact, the marine life, there, because hot water or warm water has low capacity of carrying oxygen in it. Lesser oxygen will affect the fish population, or and it might, disrupt the food chain in the aquatic ecosystem. um, Reduced species like biodiversity, urban runoff may also elevate temperature in surface water. So exposure to those type of water pollutant in our environment, or and in our, everyday drinking water, is becoming major health problems. Now, taking actions and analysis that it is just below the surface allows problem to be, identified as addressed before, and they cause widespread contamination. So, like, contest have been the, it's a company that has been leaders in, water analysis services for more than 3 decades. Though efforts are, advocate to clean earth and healthier environment, we need more action plans and strategy to clean it. Okay, now coming to another, a topic that was I was telling you, that to explain water contamination is eutrophication. Eutrophication is the process through which body of water becomes enriched with chemicals such as nitrate, phosphate, and algae and other aquatic plants and other and feed on these nutrient, leading to excess growth. Okay, now this leads to reduction in the amount of dissolved oxygen available, as a algae bloom in the surface restricts the amount of sunlight pertaining, penetrating into the water, limiting the photosynthesis, which causes the death and decomposition of plants of underwaters. The lack of dissolved oxygen will also kill aquatic life forces. Okay, this is what happens is, when you have nitrogen and phosphate here, so there's a sudden boom of algae on the surface. When the algae on the surface is suddenly, on the surface, the solar radiation is not able to penetrate into the surface and supporting the marine plants, and hence they start decaying, and decayed marine plants and phytoplanktons will you know uh, disbalance the food change in the aquatic life forces. Eutrophication, that is the gradual increase in the concentration of phosphorus, nitrogen, and other plant nutrient in an aging aquatic system, such as lake. The productivity or the fertility of such an ecosystem naturally increases as the amount of organic material that can be broken down into nutrients increases. So the this material enters the ecosystem primarily by runoff from the land that carries debris and products of reproduction, and death of terrestrial organisms. So water blossom and a great concentration of algae and microscopic organisms often develop on the surface, preventing the light to penetrate and oxygen being absorbed, necessary for the underwater life forces. So eutrophic water are often murky and may support fewer large animals, such as fish and birds, and non-eutrophic waters than that of non-eutrophic waters. Now, cultural eutrophication occurs when human water pollution seeds up to the aging process by introducing sewage, detergent, fertilizers, and other nutrient source into the ecosystem. So the cultural eutrophication has had dramatic consequences on freshwater resources, the fisheries, and recreational water bodies of water, and is one of the leading cause of aquatic ecosystem degradation. The common a culture of eutrophic aquatic system may exhibit extremely low oxygen concentration in bottom water, and condition known as hydrophexia, hypophexia. Okay. uh, no, this is particularly true of satisfied systems, such as for instance lake during summer, when concentration of molecular oxygen may reach level of less than about 1 milligram per liter, a threshold of various biological and chemical processes also crosses. Low oxygen level can be further accelerated by water boom that often accompany nutrients leading of water, and may position wildlife in the process. Now in Black Sea, where elsewhere, hypoxia water of cultural eutrophication have resulted in massive fish death by rippling effect throughout the food chain and uh, local economy in the process. Coastal marine system also may be affected by this process. Okay, just hold on. Yeah. So coastal marine system also may be affected by this process. So on a global scale, the input of organic matter by rivers into ocean to today is twice the input in the pre-human times, and the influx of nitrogen together with that of phosphate has more than doubled. Okay, so this excess loading of carbon, nitrogen and phosphorus has led to cultural eutrophication of numerous marine systems, now including several pollutant eastern you know coastal lines of USA estuaries, and the Gulf of Mexico and Mississippi River, and some other estuaries of Western Europe, like Schilzer at Belgium and Netherlands, uh, are showing the excessive effect of eutrophication. Now, much of the phosphate in the stream and lakes is delivered from agriculture, both through soil erosion and fertilizer runoff. So, the nitrogen from the municipal sewage treatment plant and the direct runoff from animal feed, lots are serious problems. Okay, so in many places, pollution control and improved municipal industries and agricultural practices could do much to curb the cultural, eutrophication of the inland and coastal waters. Biomagnification and bioaccumulation, we are going to see. So bioaccumulation is the buildup of toxic substance in a food chain. It is a common example in aquatic system is that accumulation of heavy metals such as mercury in fish. Eight At the start of this chain, mercury is absorbed by algae in the form of methyl mercurium. So the fish then eats the algae and absorb the methyl mercury, and since they are absorbing it at faster rate than it can be accurated, it accumulates in the body of the fish, in fat cells, then further absorb the mercury from the fish they consume, and this further the predator fish consume it, or the birds consume these fishes will accumulate the mercury in their body through fish, in when which is an accumulation of their in their body, and leading to a higher concentration of mercury in their body down the streams, and then in the species they have eaten, whatever the species they have eaten, it starts accumulating. Now this is known as biomagnification. So this process can be very dangerous, like humans, as we could consume fish which have bioaccumulated mercury and absorb it ourselves, causing the health problem such as damage to the central nervous system. Bioaccumulation increase in concentration of pollutants in an organism, and biomagnification is the increase in the concentration of pollutant in a food chain. Okay. Bioaccumulation and biomagnification are two different processes that are often caused in and with one another. And let us, bioaccumulation is the process by which toxins enter the food chain or food web by building up in the individual organisms. By While biomagnification is the process by which the toxins are passed on from tropic level to the next tropic level, and increasing the concentration of the pollutant. The synthetic chemicals called pest persistent organic pollutant, that is POP, are you know uh, are of primary concern when looking for bioaccumulation and magnification. Now these chemicals do not easily break down in the environment and can build up in the fatty tissues of living organisms. Some examples of persistent organic pollutant may have hard to include, like DDT. Okay. Then we have uh, which is being used in post World War II. Then PCBs, that is influent, that fumigates rodents. Then we have other chemicals, like which is there in your, if you see your, shampoo bottles, or or lotion or face cream, even your non-stick pan, they have this persistent organic matter which is coating these things, which elongates the longevity of the product. And hence, when they are into the water system, it is indirectly ingested by human bodies and other organic matters, which will affect the environmental health, and will, although we do not know as yet what is the exact health issues that is arising from it, but it is a persistent material in the water body, and it cannot be destroyed for a very long period of time. So we need to be very careful while we are using it. So hence, when we are cooking a food in non-stick pan, we should be very careful, because high heat tend to chip off the non-stick coating of the pan, and that when we consume it, it can cause many carcinogenic effect on your body. Similarly, lotions and oils and shampoos and all the cosmetic materials that you are using, they too have persistent organic material, and these organic matters are in the form of preservatives, will affect your body some way or some other way. Although some products have been banned, so the production of chemical was banned during, like DDT was banned during 70s and 80s, and they can still be found in ocean as well as the tissues of many marine animals, because of their ability to persist in the environment for a very long period of time, move within the water, and dissolve into fatty tissues of living organisms. So for all of these reasons, POPs, like DDT and PCBs and other chemical elements, are especially the pollutant, which causes bioaccumulation and magnification in the organic bodies. Biomagnification occurs at the base of the food web, usually within the primary producers like phytoplanktons, and this microscopic phytoplanktonic organisms absorb POPs directly from the seawater and accumulate them in their bodies over time. So the toxin builds up in their tissue because they are absorbed from the water at a rate faster than that they can metabolize. So biomagnification occurs when there's a slightly larger organisms called zooplanktons feed upon the contaminated phytoplanktons, and in turn absorb POPs in their own tissues at a higher concentration. So the more contaminated phytoplanktons or zooplanktons is eaten, the more pollutant it will have in its body. So, in other words, POP can be passed from producers to consumers. Okay, and biomagnification can continue all the way up to the food web or food chain, because the amount of POP becomes more and more concentrated at each topic level, higher topic level. Now, some oceanic, apex predators are at the risk of gaining, potentially fatal level of POPs within their bodies. On the larger aspect, predators that is heavy in impact by bioaccumulation and biomagnification of the POPs, that is persistent organic pollutant, is the orca whale, or we can call it killer whales. So the researchers have found that extremely high level of PCBs within the blubber of the Arctic orcas have been found, making them the most toxic animals in the Arctic Ocean. Okay, so additionally, scientists in Japan have found that mother orca are passing these contaminants to their young through their milk. Okay, because they are, mammals, so they feed their children through, milking them. So each has a fat content, and PCBs are known causes of the problem with the reproduction system, every time they are reproducing and feeding their child. uh, and there is a study currently being conducted to see if how POPs are impacting orca in other ways are also being studied. So government have now but government are slowly started to realize the importance of, containing the negative impact of these pollutants. So the production of DDT was banned on United States in 1972, and more chemicals are being banned each year. So in 2004, Stockholm Convention on, precedent organic pollutant came into the effect and internationally banned the production of PCBs and other harmful chemicals. Now, these bans have proven to be mostly effective, and environmental level of many of these toxins have already started to, noticeably decrease in the environment. Okay. Now, this is an image that shows the entire process of bioaccumulation. So how it happens, the, pollutants have, long-term effect on the organic organisms. So even if, pollutants are not dangerous enough to kill animal right on an immediate impact, their presence can have a lasting effect on the food web through bioaccumulation and biomagnification. So toxins may increase in the concentration as they are passed from food chain process called biomagnification. Okay. So with time, like what happens is this predator, they are consuming on this type of, particular type of phytoplanktons and planktons. The accumulated toxins are at this level, and soon with continuous consumption, it is increasing with time. It is accumulating. Okay. All right. Now, biomagnification. This is a difference between biomagnification and bioaccumulation. The definition difference. Then there's a cause. The difference in the cause. Then there's a difference in level of concentration of the pollutants. Then the food chain. An example, there's a difference in the, food chain absorption, and the examples can be seen that the transfer of pollutants and other absorbent toxins from the microscopic aquatic organisms into small fish, which are later consumed by a larger fish and aquatic animals. Then you have buildup or accumulation of mercury in fish and other aquatic animals. Biomagnification is the process of, again, it is a process of chemical substance or toxins in a higher tropic level, whereas bioaccumulation is the accumulation of toxic chemicals in such as pollutants and pesticides in the into the human bodies and other food chain. Causes of bioaccumulations are agricultural waste, organic contamination, industrial activities, mining activities in ocean are, causes of bioaccumulation. Then we have, there's our effect of bioaccumulation is it impacts human health. It affects reproduction and development of, marine creatures. Then you have destruction of, coral reef, and disruption of the food chain in all processes together. That intoxication of, disruptors are like, a compound, that is endocrine disruptor compounds are chemical which can interfere with the, normal function of hormones in aquatic animals, and they can enter water source through wastewater discharge from industry sewage and also in agricultural runoff. It is common that as EDC entering the water environment are turbutin, which was widely used in anti fouling paints on the ship. Okay, so the hull and the phosphate eaters, uh, which are mainly used in plastics, are known to impair growth and development in the animals, leading to reproductive abnormalities, and can even cause some species to change their sexes. Okay, they can become from a male to female. Okay, so there's a hormonal change in altogether. Then oil spills, we have talked about oil spills, that the sources are basically from oil containers and oil refineries in mid ocean oil refineries. Pollution and pollution acts. So pollution is one of the main concentration of the world's total government, and number of countries have striven to find solution to reduce the water pollution, and many pollutants being threatening these water supplies have also been taken in consideration, and countries such as China, India, Iran, sewage, sludge, garbage, and even toxin pollutants are all dumped into the water in these areas. So we have to be very concerned about doing so. So even if the sewage is treated, the problem will still arise if the sewage from sludge, which may be placed in landfills, and that will still again penetrate into the groundwater and contaminate the groundwater. So then there is a water conflict. So as we have a very limited source of fresh water on the surface, we also are thriving for water conflict and water sharing among the countries, among your neighboring states and districts, which is a very constraining issue for a developing nation. All right. So this is all about water pollution, biochemical aspects of water pollution, and effect of water pollution on various life forms as well as human bodies. Okay. This is all, and we'll see you again for the next lecture.